Beyond the Badge is brought to you by the Edina Crime Prevention Fund and Orange Theory Fitness.
Welcome to Beyond the Badge, a program about the inner workings of the Edina Police and Fire Departments. Thanks for joining us. I'm Sergeant Brian Hubbard. This month we bring you a special episode from our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., where I'm joined by 7 officers, our dispatch supervisor, and a number of significant others as we celebrate National Police Week. Our group joins over 40,000 officers from around the world as we honor the sacrifices of those officers who died in the line of duty in the last year, along with their surviving family members.
Each year in Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States of America, thousands gather around the week of May 15th to celebrate the lives of fallen police officers and offer support to their surviving families. Among them, a contingent of Edina officers who use their own resources to participate in what many of them say is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. As he bikes some 250 miles to Washington, D.C., Edina officer Jason Bear kept thinking of only one officer's name, 22-year-old Adam Scott Conrad, a corrections officer from Illinois who died while transporting a prisoner.
Well, we were assigned an officer, and Adam was the officer that was assigned. So then we reach out to the family prior to coming.
Conrad was one of more than 145 officers who died in 2016.
It's overwhelming. So during our ride, at every time we stop, they read the officer down. So they read the story of an officer who's passed away. And then when they do that, they have the family next to them. So it's very moving. It's very sad. But it gives you the inspiration to keep going.
And each officer, each support person, anybody associated with the ride is riding for someone. For an officer killed in the line of duty, either the previous year or any other year. This year I'm riding for Avery Freeman, who was an officer in the Chester Police Department back in 2012.
Both Bear and Edina's dispatch supervisor, Tony Martin, joined the Road to Hope bike tour on May 8, 2017 in Chesapeake, Virginia. The ride is sponsored by Law Enforcement United, an all-volunteer group dedicated to raising money for the surviving families of fallen officers, such as the Conrads.
It's something I wanted to give back. I've never been in Washington, D.C. before, so if I was going to come here, I wanted to do something that goes along with Police Week. So doing something representing a family was was something I wanted to do.
We get picked up from the airport from Virginia County Sheriff's Office. They have a transportation for us, and we all stay at the same hotel. That second day we get in, and it's registration day. We get to kind of get all of our packets, our medical information, update, signing waivers, just verifying information in case something does happen.
Then, on a particularly hot Wednesday morning, the rubber met the road as cyclists began their way north to Richmond.
76 in the sun. The sun here is a little different than the sun in Minnesota. I was absolutely fried. I think some of the sunburn has gone away. But
They do about 8 stops throughout the day, so they'll run about 10 to 15, 17 miles in between breaks.
Thursday brought steep terrain and wet roads.
that was a torrential downpour, all hills, and about 46 degrees.
There was one rider that I talked to. I asked about kind of how you doing, and he said, "I am absolutely drenched. I can't get any wetter, so let's keep going."
This was Martin's second year participating as part of the bike ride support staff. He and a few dozen others oversaw making sure cyclists were fed, sheltered, and safe on the roads.
We leapfrog because we set up one support food station, and then they ride in. Once they leave, then we pack up. The secondary food team is then already at that next stop waiting for them, and then we go into the third and kind of keep doing that throughout the day.
Around noon on Friday, the ride made it into Washington, D.C., where Bear and Martin were greeted by hundreds of supporters, including the Conrads.
What do you think of Jason riding on behalf of Anna? Awesome. He's just unbelievable.
I am.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, and I can't thank him enough.
We will forever remember our mutual heroes, and we will always remember you, the survivors.
As the ride's closing ceremony wound down, it was apparent many of these Law Enforcement United riders, supporters, and surviving families would ride any number of miles if it meant bringing some joy to a family who's lost a loved one. Saturday began with a train ride to Judiciary Square. Among the several hundred race participants gathered in front of the National Police Memorial were Edina officers Sergeant Brian Hubbard, officers Allie Wilson, Jason Bear, and Emily Jepson, as well as Jepson's husband Ben.
A lot of people here. A lot of people, no rain. I like it. Here we go.
Less than 16 minutes after the start, the first runners came flying through the finish line. Hubbard was the first to finish from Edina.
Woo! It was good. Awesome to see all these people out here honoring our fallen. Well, it was a flat course, that was nice. A lot of energy in the group. A lot of people out. A lot of cheering along the route. Yeah, really good.
Shortly after came Wilson and Bear. Although Bear had biked 250 miles in the days before, he thought a 5K made for a perfect cool down.
That was good. It was nice to get the legs stretched out a little bit.
As for the Jepsons,
You guys have run a 5K before, right?
No.
Really? Oh.
That's why we walked.
the couple offered their support by carrying the group's gear and using the race as a walking tour.
It was fun to see everybody run past us, I guess.
There, we passed some runners at the end.
Yeah, it was fun to see everybody coming together for the same reason. And then also having the sights all around us and running past the Capitol was super cool.
With the race finished, everyone went their separate ways until it was time for the Candlelight Vigil.
there is no more important group of guests with us here tonight than the surviving members of our fallen law enforcement heroes.
They protected the hometowns that make up our America. Each name is an officer who went to work one day and never came home. Each one is a hero. Being a law enforcement officer means you never stop running towards the danger that others run in panic away from.
Took the oath to uphold the law, to serve, and to protect us. Their deaths strike our hearts as we gather tonight in vigil. As you promise to be ever present with your children, we pray for that presence here tonight, to bring comfort in the midst of sorrow, to bring hope in the midst of uncertainty, to bring peace in the midst of unrest.
For the rule of law to be real, we need brave men and women who are willing to defend it and uphold it on the foreign battlefields and on the streets of our communities. That is what these fallen heroes did for us. So tonight, we mourn their loss, we remember their stories, we celebrate the gift of ordered liberty they have helped us secure. And lastly, to all those serving here, I have a simple message for each of you. We have your back, and you have our thanks.
One of the highest honors a motor officer can take part in during National Police Week is escorting the families of fallen officers.
You know, the lead motor guy that talks out here, he always says it's not for you guys, it's for them. And one thing that they always take back, the families always take back, is that their highlight of the experience that they do out here is always the motors. It's always the escort to and from the airport. Today we're going to the FBI Academy, the Marine Corps Museum for the kids, and it's a kids event, and they take that back, and that's what they remember is the lights, the sirens, the VIP day that they get.
Edina motor officers Darren Cizik and Sergeant Ryan Schultz made history as the first pair of motor officers from the Edina Police Department to fulfill this duty.
It's a humbling experience. It's an honor. It was some long days of rain and not probably the most fun thing you would ever do, but we're not out here for us, we're out here for the families.
Each of these children has lost a parent. As fathers, that fact resonated with both officers.
I can't imagine how hard it would be for these kids, you know, to lose a father or mother. So to do our part in it, to try to make their day and them have an enjoyable time here is a good feeling.
When I have a 14 and 11-year-old at home, they couldn't fathom losing me to some tragedy, I guess. And they couldn't imagine all the kids out here either and what they've gone through.
And the pair had plenty of time to reflect. They drove more than 19 hours each way from Minnesota to Washington, D.C. to bring out their motorcycles.
We're out here to show that they are part of our family and we're here for them, even though we don't know them and they're strangers, but the survivors' family, they're a part of our large extended family. So we're out here for them. We've heard nothing but compliments from the family that it's a very amazing thing for them to see, and it's something that they remember from their time here. So,
you know, it just feels like we're doing the right thing. We can't imagine the tragedy that they've already faced, and for us to be out here, I think it's minimal. Rain, snow, or shine, I've been very proud to do what I've done in the past, 4 or 5 days we've been working.
I sit and get back to my room and think, this is a long time to be away from home and be away from my family. But I get to go home to my family, and these people don't. They lost a family member. So it's the least we could do is take a week out of our time to support and be there for these families.
It is National Police Week. And on behalf of the President of the United States of America, today it is my privilege to welcome so many courageous men and women of law enforcement, and especially the families of the fallen who are gathered here to mark the 36th National Peace Officers Memorial Service. Sacrifice and memory is what brings us to this place every year. Each one of you walks out the door of your homes to protect and serve our families at the risk of not returning to yours. And today, be assured, you have the gratitude of your president, this entire administration, and national government. You have the gratitude of every American.
Though your loved ones left us much too soon, the memory of their courage will live on forever. To see so many names together is to gain only a small glimpse of the debt America owes to those who protect our cities and police on our streets. We are privileged this morning to be joined by families of the fallen, to whom we owe that ultimate loyalty. So many people, even back here. Please know that you do not grieve alone. Our American heroes, they died keeping us safe. They are the pride of our nation, and we will hold them in our hearts always and forever.
This trip serves as a sobering reminder for us of the sacrifices made by our fellow officers, as well as our commitment to protecting and serving the community that we work with. On behalf of the rest of Edina's public safety team, I'd like to thank you for tuning in for another episode of Beyond the Badge. Until next time, stay safe.